I mean, can you explain what that moment was and what changed?
Well, my wife might be better on that one.
Oh,
She just she was excited, and then for a second there we thought it might not happen, but then when it came back and it came around and it came through, that
So it was part of the negotiation thing where you thought, okay.
just the timing, how quick it was, and you know, he's not exactly patient, Del Conte over there. I mean, he wants answers, you know, yesterday. So I mean, that was part of it. So.
And when Pitt moved to the ACC, how much did it change? I mean, you guys were kind of a Northeast school.
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of players out of New York City. They got to play against Big East foes. How much did that change your
Changed
program?
a lot, yeah. Changed what we were doing. You're not going there. I mean, you're not playing back in that area. So it's that. Our thing always with recruit was, you know, you had to adjust with recruiting. So when we were the worst team in the Big East, you say, well, you know, hey, we play in the best conference. You get to play against these people. You get to come home. So we adjusted, and we had a great class this year. Come in 3 good players, different areas. Kid from Virginia, North Carolina, but played at prep school in Virginia. DC we could still go to because of proximity, and you can still get a guy, you know, in different areas. But there's, you know, you just got to keep keep plugging away and keep working guys and talking and so this is the, you know, I've been at Hawaii, Northern Arizona. Pittsburgh is not known for in the recent years about as far as having abundance of talent. And so here, I mean, I think about when I tell my wife I'm going recruiting, she says I'll see you in 3 days. And now when I tell my wife I'm going recruiting, you know, I'll be back in a couple hours. That's a nice. I don't know if my wife will like it that much, but for me, I'll be excited about it.
Yeah, that's something that the coaches understand, but maybe most people don't understand. Everybody says Texas is football, but you know, as far
Oh
as
yeah.
So,
yeah.
but the quality of players in the Metroplex and Houston and everything. I mean, this is a pretty good state to be in to recruit, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, there's players everywhere, and they're close, and they love going to, you know, and TCU's reputation now is just enhanced. It's gotten better and better, and it's moved up in all the rankings. And like I said, I asked the players, you know, talking about different things, and you know, the shoes, that's, you know, priority, that's important. But I asked them point blank, do you like going to school here? Yeah, I mean, they love going to school here, so that's, you know, that's a good thing to know. That's a good thing to know, and a good thing to be a part of. And you guys, TCU graduates out here, or what? Yeah, guy with the TCU, yeah. Did you like going to school here?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, confirmation.
You said you'd expect a Big 12 championship, trying to work on breaking that Kansas streak. Has that been part of the issue in the past year? The expectation hasn't been as high?
Well, they've only been in the conference for, 4 years, right? So they have the numbers exactly right. So, I mean, there's, you know, they've had a, you know, change in conferences and instability, and there's a lot with the unknown too, you know. But now you know what you're in. Yeah, I mean, I look at me and say, you know, I'm sure Brad, I'm not saying who's going to win the conference championships today too. And it doesn't look promising when the same guy's on it 12 years in a row. But you got to have that mentality. You got to think that way, and you know, that's where we go. The great thing is you had 7 teams make the NCAA tournament from a 10-team conference. So you know, you got to set your bar high. But there's so many good teams, but the opportunities are there.
Is that the first goal?
sorry?
NCAA tournament first, and then the Big 12 championship is maybe a little bit.
Win our first game.
Well,
that's our first one. Get our first practice. I mean, we're going to process, but yeah, that'll be. You know, you set the bar high, and you may not reach it. I mean, you know, you want to get a stop defensively in the first play. If you don't get it, doesn't mean you give up. You got to get it done the next time. So, I mean, we're going to go after it, and it's about handling adversity, responding, recovery. You know, you got to. There's going to be some setbacks, and we need our guys to respond to come back when it doesn't go just right.
Just from your standpoint, the one moment where you thought it wasn't going to happen, was that more related to your contract and the buyout at Pitt, or was there second thoughts on your part?
I think I mentioned. I mean, it was a combination of things. You know, this guy's got no patience over here, Del Conte, and there was. Just, you know, and there, you know, maybe a little. Am I moving too quick here? Because again, it's Saturday, Sunday. I mean, right. You know, there was a combination of things, and fatigue may have factored in late at night. So, that was it was a combination of things. I can't point to one.
Well, when did you know exactly that, yeah, I'm taking this job? Because Trish said he was ready to take off at 8:30 Monday and it wound up being 2 o'clock. When during that time did you actually know?
When he told me, when he told me,
The agreement?
when it got work. I mean, these guys, there's always outside things that get involved that I don't understand and don't care to either. So, I just gotta. I'm just a finance economics guy from TCU in Santa Barbara.
I knew a little bit about the acting, but seriously.
Yeah, who brought that? That was well, he's the boss. So
Yeah, but you seriously could have been the guy with the robot.
No, I didn't know where he was going. I always said, I gave myself a hard. I said to the players that that's how you not do an interview for future reference. But most people don't have to live down what they did 45 years ago. But I've had to do that for those commercials forever. So
Do you still have the SAG card?
no, that's
Okay,
it keeps carrying around. There's so many things to get written. I rewrite things and I say, how did they come up with that? Because that's not true. But then sometimes I just let it go because I like to get that amusement.
Well,
out of
the
it.
chancellor said it too, so
Yeah,
why?
I didn't. Yeah, so it's when the chancellor says it, you go with it. I mean, you go with it. He's the boss. But I think it was said in jest, and I think we have the same sense of humor, so I got it as a joke. But
You've wrecked a lot of stories here. I think, so that's good.
So it's but it is funny. I mean, it was 40. I don't know how it got out there, but I never told anybody. But somehow it got here. They found out when I was a student, and I did one when I was at Santa Barbara, and that ran as I was older.
A commercial?
Commercial, and that was a Bud Light one. And so when people heard about that one, somehow it came out that they saw that one, that it would follow me. But they knew at TCU too. I think if you come from Hollywood, somebody's going to ask a question.
Jamie,
Is it-
you mentioned the interview. That's not what you're. But obviously, the first thing they showed you here is the miracle shot. Put a little pressure on you. They want bigger miracles now than they did then, right?
Yeah, no, it's there's nothing wrong with pressure. I mean, or expectations or desires to do this, do that. I mean, we have those same things. I mean, I think a writer asked me in Pittsburgh when I was driving away yesterday, driving to the airport, and I was like, we have the same expectation. When we lose, we're just as disappointed. We're devastated. We lost the turn. The players were devastated. They don't say a word, and then sometimes when people say, "Oh, what you think the players didn't have expectations?" I don't fault anybody for thinking you should win or want. I mean, it's part of the deal. I mean, you better have high expectations or you're not going to succeed, and that's what I'm talking about. We can't plan on being 9th place next year because that's better than 10th place. I mean, that won't get you to where we want to get to.
Is this the return of Killer's Frogs?
Yeah, I know that's we were Killer's Frogs, but we weren't quite the originals. So
Right.
we had our own style, and I think we played completely different than really the Killer Frogs.
Right.
I think we just kind of went and played, and I think we almost became a different team than any that he had really coached and Coach Killings with. You're gonna have different personalities, but I mean, it's going to be, some will look at it that way, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, those were great times, and they were the last, conference championships and NCAA tournament wins. So, it shows it can be done, and that was in that Southwest Conference.
Were you the guy on
Conte
the?
said over there, talked a lot about why not us, and why can't this why should the perception be that this program can be successful? What's your take on that in terms of what's your perception on that?
Well, I don't understand them because they're good in everything else. I mean, you go down to tennis, and Rodidi's got them winning in women's tennis, and football, obviously Gary, and I mean, so I don't. I mean, we got Reagan's doing a great job, and I mean, baseball. I mean, Coach Schlossnagel. I mean, so I mean, all those things they've proven it can be done. Yeah, it's different, and maybe there's some challenges, and they've got more. In some ways, they've got some resources in some of those sports that don't, and the school is built for some things. Maybe the tennis, and we're Pitt. We have a tennis team. We don't have tennis courts, so it's a little different than what than they got over there when I drove by again last night. So, you know, it's we can't make excuses. We've got to. If you're making excuses, you're not going to get it done, and we don't want excuses.